Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another episode from the KrebsCOHO channel. Today is going to be a very, very special episode, so a very warm welcome to all the old and new eyes who are watching this episode today. In fact, it is the 99th episode from the Company of Heroes series on this channel that we are doing. Alright, so that is very special for me because, let alone, let's think about this, it is one episode short from the 100th episode. So you might be asking me, why is 99 so special? Well, because it's one short of 100, but not only that, guys, today is actually a very special day as well. So today is the 18th of January 2012. What does that mean? It means that exactly a year ago today, on the 18th of January 2011, the KrebsCOHO channel was taken off. Okay, that is absolutely superb. I'm very appreciative of that happening. Now, hopefully you guys can give me just a few minutes before we get this game started to just tell you guys how much I appreciate your effort in watching these videos and what it means to me. Okay, so exactly a year ago we started this channel from 0 up to what we currently have, just almost 3,000. I believe probably tomorrow we'll hit 3,000. Now that is absolutely crazy. I never imagined this channel would take off this much, and I don't even want to imagine what it's going to be like in a year. I don't even think it's going to be double in a year. I don't think it's going to be 6,000. I believe it's going to probably be many more, and that's just absolutely crazy to think about. I never ever thought it would be this great. And you know, a lot of people like to say that when they're making their own appreciations, they always say, I never imagined this. But to be honest, guys, I mean, I was never thinking that it would ever get this big. Could you imagine personally, say if you're in my position and say if you have 3,000 people in front of you that says, oh, I enjoy your casts, I'm a big fan of yours, you know, for whatever reason, it's absolutely humbling in a way to actually know that you're entertaining people. And you know what, it's what I enjoy, and that is my main goal of actually bringing out these videos and starting them in the first place, to entertain you guys, to educate you in various games. I mean, I like to give out tips and stuff in Company of Heroes. Obviously I'm not the best expert out there, but I can say with experience, I've played this game since 2007, so I know basically everything about the game, so I can tell you a lot of things that a lot of other people wouldn't know. Okay, obviously I do this with other games as well, Battlefield 3, World of Tanks, and stuff like that, so it's actually a very special time for me today, because a year ago we started this channel. Now, a lot of effort has gone into it, admittedly. For example, the Company of Heroes series alone, what I've done is probably about 45 hours or so of video time. Okay, so up to this point at the moment, about 45 hours of Company of Heroes videos. That does not include all the hours of Battlefield 3, World of Tanks, Red Orchestra, and all those other games. So that would easily probably double up or something like that. Maybe not double up, but maybe, you know, quite a bit more. And that doesn't even include all the amount of editing that has gone into it. So there's many, many more hours that have gone into this channel. And, you know, it's absolutely superb. This is my hobby. It's not my career. I mean, my career is pharmacy. I enjoy studying it. I want to help people out, and to be able to do something almost duplicate in a way to entertain you guys, to provide you enjoyment in a different way, and you know, just bring beneficence to you guys in a different way than medicines is absolutely superb, because I enjoy doing it, right? So again, a very big thank you to all of you for actually being part of this channel. It's gonna grow. I just don't see this ending anytime soon. I could easily imagine myself doing this for many, many, many more years to come. You know what, even I don't even see myself quitting in a year or two. I don't even see myself quitting in ages, as in forever. I could imagine myself, imagine if you will, KrebsCOHO 2100. Even though I might be old, that's about 88 years from now. Even though I might be a bit old and slower at finger clicking, and I don't know how technology is going to be like in the future, but I could imagine myself easily doing this in the future and entertaining future generations. I know I'm sounding like some sort of philosophical sort of guy at the moment, but just the main point is I don't see myself quitting, and I'm very appreciative of you guys actually being part of the KrebsCOHO channel. So a toast, if you will. Imagine imaginary champagne in your hand right now and me toasting you. A toast to the future for the KrebsCOHO channel. Indeed, a very special day today. Now let's actually get on with this episode. So shut up, Bernard, and entertain, you monkey. So here we go, guys. So this is a 1v1 on Stursdorf. So today we're going to be looking at a Brit in the southern corner going by the name of Grougaloragran. Yes, as the Brit, taking on his opponent in the northern side, that would be the pffreestyler as the PE. Alright, so let's get this game started in 3 seconds. So in 3, 2, 1, and begin. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And on we go to another very exciting matchup in the Company of Heroes battlefield. Alright, so you know what I really like as when I'm playing as the Brits? Just that one song that you have when you start off the game. Like, you know, for example, whenever you start a game or a round, there's always that introduction song, you know, right? I love the one for the Brits specifically. I know exactly what the name of it is. It's the Month of Valiant Effort. In fact, Company of Heroes has actually been doing a poll for like the last month or something, asking you guys which is your favorite albums, and you know what, they're all really superb. I mean, these songs are very strong, very strong indeed, very highly professionally made. They're not just some sort of low quality ones. They have emotion and power behind them, and I absolutely love this song, The Month of Valiant Effort. You guys know how it goes. Do you know, that's my iteration of how it goes, but it's an absolutely cool song. When I'm playing the Brits, that's probably my main factor of why I love playing Brits, probably just for that song alone, but nah, it's okay, the Brits are a cool faction as well. So what we've got right from the get-go, we've got that obviously normal recon infantry squad just camping away, grabbing that medium munitions point over here, and the bus is hogging it, parking itself down just like a sort of caravan, like a gypsy caravan or something like that, hogging it and saying, no, this is ours, we claim it for Queen Victoria. I don't believe it's Queen Elizabeth because she was a youngin' back in the day, but I believe probably Queen Victoria. So, for the Queen, for the King, for King and Country, God save the King, right? And we've also got a lieutenant. Oh no, yeah, we've also got a lieutenant, yeah, coming out. I was just gonna say, no, it couldn't have been the Queen Victoria, it had to be King George, right? God save the King. And so, there we go, we've got that lieutenant coming out, and he's just capping away as well. So very standard startup from the Brits. Now let's head on over to the PE and see what they're actually producing. This is also a very cool episode because it's going to be featuring a bunch of opposing front factions. I mean, usually we always see a mixture of, like, you know, Wehrmacht or Americans somewhere in there if it's team games, or maybe we'll see a pure vanilla matchup, but it's really cool. I've really been keen on seeing an opposing fronts matchup, a pure opposing fronts matchup. So here we guys go, right? So for the PE, what we've actually got is 2 Kettenkrads being produced and also 3 Panzer Grenadiers, alright? So 2 Kettenkrads, what could that mean? That's kind of unusual, not entirely unusual, but on the most side, we most frequently see 1 Kettenkrad, but 2 Kettenkrads means that we're going to see a whole lot more capping and a lot faster. So what that could mean is maybe that pffreestyler wants to grab his points early and start investing in towards getting his buildings later, his teching up, right? So basically that means if he gets more fuel right now, he can get to his vehicles, such as armored cars and other stuff like that, much earlier than he could have if he only had 1 Kettenkrad. Obviously, 1 more Kettenkrad is a trade-off because you have 1 less Panzer Grenadier squad. Alright, so there we go. That is the balance that's going on. But overall, I think 2 Kettenkrads is a really good idea, especially in 1v1. 2 Kettenkrads, it means just you're capping a whole lot faster. I think that is very important. You know, the Kettenkrad isn't entirely that costly. It's not as costly as a Panzer Grenadier squad, so I could actually see the beneficence of having 2 Kettenkrads rather than an extra Panzer Grenadier squad out on the field. I could actually see that. So there we go, we've got just a bunch of these Kettenkrads capping about, and the Panzer Grenadiers getting back on the field, quite damaged themselves. Look at that, one of the squads down to about half health, but still full man squad. So one of those men is going to die, one of those gentlemen in that squad is going to die very fast. Now, let's take a quick look over at the tactical map, so you guys can get an idea of balance in this map. Now, I don't even know what the balance is of this map, because purely, I'm going to be honest with you guys, when I look at it, okay, when I look at it, it just really confuses me because the balance in this map sort of confuses me. The points seem skewed, for example. I mean, you've got a plus 16 fuel point on the right-hand side, but it seems more favored towards the Brits. It seems a bit closer to them, whilst the northern side, not really so much. And overall, all the points seem a bit skewed. It doesn't really seem like something that, you know, is symmetrical in a way. It seems a bit asymmetrical, if anything. But overall, what we can generalize and get the gist of is that there's a plus 16 fuel point on the right-hand side, and you've also got a bunch of cover in the center, mixed in with a bunch of low points, and then on the left-hand side where it's open, you've got medium points. However, it's not entirely open. I mean, look at this. You've got a little bit of growth here. These trees, you wouldn't even consider it a forest, but a little bit of growth. So an open area with some cover on the outsides. So there we go. That is the Stursdorf map. So obviously, I'm not exactly sure how this is meant to be balanced. I know a lot of people have opinions about Stursdorf in terms of imbalances. However, let's not really talk about that because, I mean, we can agree that it is a little bit skewed at times. Now, what we have from the PE is actually a bunch of infantry half-tracks being produced. Very, very unusual. I have not seen this being done in a PE game in a long time. I mean, we know what the common gist for PE is. Usually go on up to armored cars or get some sort of mortar half-track. We know the general gist, but this is very unusual. Double infantry half-tracks. Now that means that the PGs can obviously reinforce from beside them. Usually one would be enough to do that, but by having two, that could mean more suppression power. My girlfriend is phoning me. God, why does she always call me during the cast? This has happened in the last cast as well. Oh god, she'll have to wait again. And so what this means is that 2 infantry half-tracks means more suppressive power, but not only that, what it's also going to mean, I believe, it is more investment in towards clown cars. Now that seems a bit unusual, okay, but when you have 2 half-tracks, that usually means that there's going to be probably something a little bit different on the field, because if there's 1, fair enough, you'd have your reinforcing and stuff like that going on, probably you wouldn't expect something that different, but 2, we'll have to see what comes out of this. Now, we've also got a mortar half-track right here, and throwing down an incendiary round right on top of the trenched men over here, but oh my god, look at this. The flames are not even on top of the guy, so it's not even damaging it. All these wasted munitions by the PF Freestyler. I suppose it's not entirely wasted because look at how much he has. He has a huge surplus at the moment, so a lot to afford, but that could easily go down to 0 technically, because if he needs to upgrade his guys, if he needs to get some sort of things like that, really it costs a lot of munitions. Say 75 for assault rifles, for example, or 50 for a Gewehr 43. It really goes by very fast. So that's something very common I see with the mortar half-track, because I tend to play PE quite a bit. PE is probably one of my most favorite factions at the moment. And so what I've actually noticed is that the mortar half-tracks with the incendiary rounds specifically can be very inaccurate at times. I mean, was that really that far away from the trench? No, it wasn't. I think there needs to be some sort of little bit of balance changes in terms of the accuracy of the incendiary rounds, because I think far too many times, I mean, I'm saying this from personal experience, maybe you guys would disagree, but far too many times I've noticed in my own games, specifically when I have mortar half-track, that sometimes they'll miss just a bit too often. It becomes very frustrating that you invested so much munitions into a costly ability like that, and it misses and does nothing. So kind of frustrating at times. I remember in this one game it happened to me 3 times in one game where it missed, and it was just like, oh, perfect opportunity, everyone's blobbed up and you could have killed a whole bunch of guys, but you know, it didn't happen. So there we go, finally landing right on top of these guys here. I thought there was nobody in there. I didn't actually see anyone in there, but maybe I wasn't paying attention, who knows. So let's switch on over to Grougaloragran and see what he's doing. Oh, I probably should have mentioned this, completely forgot. But the levels of these guys are very identically leveled. Let's just put it at that they're about at level 16, both of them, okay? So PF Freestyler is at level 16. You guys can see it in front of your screen right now. Level 16 with the PE, and also with various other factions around that same place. And also Grougaloragran. Let's just call him Groog. Groog is easier, okay? So Groog, it has actually very similar stats as well, so let's head on over to him, and you guys can see in front that he's a level 16 Brit, along with a whole bunch of other factions as well, so they are very similarly matched. It's a very interesting matchup to see today, because they obviously have somewhat of the same skills, right? So Groog, I believe it actually comes from some sort of anime. I had a quick Google search just before this episode today, and I believe it's actually some sort of cartoon or anime or something like that, because I like to know where people get their names from, because they can be unusual at times. So Groog, I believe, some sort of anime, and fair enough. I mean, if people want to do their names based off of cartoons, then fair enough. I mean, a lot of people like to base their names off of historical figures, such as myself. Krebs, for example. Maybe you guys don't know who Krebs is, but the actual General Hans Krebs from back in World War II that fought for the Wehrmacht. He was actually a general for the infantry and with the Berlin defense, and so it was obviously a very appropriately named name for myself, because I was a big infantry or defensive doctrine fan back in the day. I highly loved playing the defensive doctrine for the Wehrmacht. Really loved playing it all the time. I always thought it was just very stupendous playing it. There's a lot of benefits of doing so, and having just a mass amount of infantry and using for the fatherland. It was very overwhelming and a very hard thing to take on. So I think it was appropriately to be named after the general of the infantry, right? So there you guys go. That is the reason I created my name. Now we've got a bunch of lieutenants here, 3 in fact, who are providing these guys triple veterancy. That is huge. You can imagine the amount of accuracy and damage bonuses from these guys, and there you guys go. I mean, look at that, absolutely annihilating that half-track right there. The one single Piet squad, enough to absolutely mold these guys apart. Also, we've got a single veterancy lieutenant right over here, which is providing that heroic charge. So you guys can see that they're exhausted, they're panting, because they just ran about 20 meters, and they're panting 20 meters with nothing. Come on! Get your back into it, you Tommies. And so they have activated that heroic charge. A single veterancy on one of those lieutenants allows the heroic charge. Now, what we have here is a blob tactic style. A lot of you people might be raging at this. I particularly have problems when I'm taking on the Brits and their blobs, okay? Specifically team games, I find this very difficult because in team games you'll usually be funneled to particular areas. You could say that in 1v1s as well, but to be honest, in 1v1s the maps are a whole lot more open, so you can come from different directions. But in team games I find it a little bit more difficult because everything funnels to one area, and that means you're going to have to deal with the blob. Obviously, let's talk about the pros and cons of blobs. You have a massive overwhelming force. It's going to be hard, very difficult for anything to even take you on. However, what this means, you'll have difficulty capping. Now for the Brits, this could be obviously an iffy thing. However, usually when we go down the Brit line, they're obviously going to have to get like a captain somewhere down the line, and the captain, its veterancy only works in a sector of their control. So when you're obviously fighting in the enemy territory, a captain is going to have no benefit, right? So the usual use of a captain is to cap. There you guys go. Look at him. He's built and he's going straight to capping. So this man, this captain, even though he's higher ranked than a lieutenant, is going to be capping. How did he earn his status? I have no idea. He just earned it somehow, probably from paperwork and pushing pens over at military academy, and that's him, right? Come on, lieutenants, get on up in there, or else you're gonna lose some veterancy on these guys. Bonuses. There we go. They're back into consideration. Yep, there we go, 3 stars. Look at that massive aura bonus. That has really been changed since the 2.602 patch. You can just see that massive increase of range. Before it was a whole lot smaller, like half the size or something like that, and now it's just a whole lot bigger, right? So we've got trenches going down. The Brits are saying to themselves, we are going to grab this area on the left hand side. We've managed to push away the PE right now. We might have a little bit difficult time actually holding on to it, so what we're going to actually do is put down a few trenches and get in there, because nothing can take us on. One thing to be careful of though, Panzer Grenadiers. You know what comes with Panzer Grenadiers with an unlock: incendiary grenades. Incendiary grenades, the perfect counter against trenches. However, obviously easy to just delete those trenches instantly and get on out of there, right? So you can already see that these vehicles are having a hard time taking them on, slowly damaging them, but still not really that much. So taking a quick look over at the PE, what they have built is obviously a leapfrog up from the Kampfgruppe company where we saw those half tracks over to the Panzerjäger Command, getting the armored cars out. Very interesting indeed, because now he has a whole bunch of anti-infantry, but where is his anti-tank capability? Well, let's actually go take a look. Where's his Panzer Grenadiers? I think that's what I'm trying to make my main point here. Panzer Grenadiers, Panzer Shreks. There we go. So the Panzer Shreks being produced, obviously from the Kampfgruppe company, and so they've been unlocked, and so that will act as the main anti-tank force. One thing that you obviously really need to be careful of with the Panzer Shreks, and them specifically being on infantry, is, well, the thing is that the Brits have something called a Stuart. And there you go, you can see it. And what does Stuart have as the canister shot ability, which absolutely wrecks guys. It's like a buckshot. Just go boom and spreads everywhere and rips guys apart. So infantry for the PE really need to be careful. They need to separate themselves out, because most likely a light Stuart is going to be really keen on actually doing something like that. So he's got enough munitions, definitely enough. He's got 137 saved up to actually do something like that, do that canister ability. And so these guys are separated out. I'm not sure what Grougaloragran, oh god, Groog, let's just stop right there. Groog is going to be doing, because look at this. The Panzerschrecks are really taking him on, and they're in the clown car as well. Being in the clown car, they actually, rather than you might be thinking that they would, for example, be using some sort of moving accuracy modifiers, well, no, they're actually considered stationary when they're in the infantry half track, and so they can still take on anything as normally. And so there you guys go. I mean, that is a very good thing to do when you've got infantry like that with Shreks on them and they get an infantry half track. You can sort of do some drive-bys and take on vehicles like that, and it's a strategy that we haven't very commonly seen in 2.602. I mean, the usual gist with 2.602 has been armored cars or mortar half track, stuff like that. You know, we're seeing that right now, but the added benefit is that we're seeing a little bit difference with those infantry half tracks, and that's really cool because they used to be a lot more popular in 2.601. Not really so much in this this patch. You know, strategies changed and stuff like that, but it's really cool to see that going back into the works. Now, what we've got, Piets, be careful armored cars. They really need repairs, and now, so they probably need to actually upgrade their advanced repairs as well, the PE, so that they can actually get these vehicles repaired quicker. And what we actually have now is pffreestyler going for the tank doctrine, the tank destroyer doctrine, and there you guys go. He's got that Hetzer out, so what he's going to be actually doing is working probably towards some Panzerschrecks, alright? So the Panzerschrecks benefit is that you get double Panzerschrecks on your PG squads. That is really nice. You're basically doubling your anti-tank effectiveness instantly, because we have a whole bunch of PEGs with their Panzerschrecks, and so they'll basically become double of that. And that is absolutely stupendous to gain some sort of advantage like that. A whole bunch of Panzerschrecks for free. That's basically what it is, right? So we've got a very nice combination of units right now for the PE. They've got a whole bunch of anti-infantry, tons of armored cars, and also a bunch of anti-tanks. So I'm not exactly sure how the Brits are going to take this on, and maybe they're going to do this from overwhelming forces. I'm not exactly sure. They still are keeping their guys together because I suppose in numbers they're more effective, but we're going to have to see. We've also got Bofors placed down right over in this location. They're going to be providing some sort of defense, not really much from a Hetzer. Obviously a Hetzer is more heavily armored and has a sloping front armored, so it's going to be hard to penetrate, but it obviously can take on that Bofors if it so wishes. But it's got to be really careful because we've got a bunch of blobs here, a bunch of infantry, so they really need to be careful. I'm going to take a quick drink, guys.
Victory location is under attack.
There we go. So they are really going to have to be careful because this blob could absolutely devastate anything that is caught in the fire. Now we've got these Brents, for example, these Bren guns that have that ability to button. Two, in fact, so that means they can button two separate vehicles if they so wish. They've also got two Piet squads to do maximum damage. So you got to think about that. That could easily button these vehicles. So say if these three armored cars come rushing in, they could easily button two of them and take them out instantly, and that third one would have to get out of there as soon as possible or face defeat, basically. So these Bren guns, you know, I find it actually really unusual that Bren guns can actually button something. It's actually quite frustrating because in a lot of these games I've been playing recently, specifically as like Vermont or PE, you know, it's kind of unusual that Bren guns can actually button a vehicle. You know, maybe I could understand that with a lighter vehicle. Could you imagine if you were in an armored car, for example, and there's bullets flying through it and piercing it? Maybe I could understand that. You'd be a bit keen on just like getting cover, I don't know, maybe driving off or something like that, I don't know. But maybe you'd be a bit more afraid in a light armored car, right? But a heavy vehicle like a Panther or a Panzer IV support tank, it doesn't really make sense to me that a Bren gun could actually do that. And you know, there's a lot of balance that goes into this game, and maybe I could understand that in that respect. But to be honest, balance aside, obviously this game tries to get a little bit of realism, and I think what they should have done rather than the Bren gun is maybe put in something else that maybe was a bit more realistic. I'm not exactly sure what they could have done to make it a bit more realistic, but maybe something else. Maybe like, oh gosh, I can't even imagine what it could be, like some sort of temporary immobilizing or something like that. I have no idea, guys, but you know, something like that rather than a wee gun holding a heavy tank down. It doesn't really make sense to me in my head. So, you know, that's just my opinions. Maybe you guys would disagree, but I think something should have been changed, or maybe in the thought design process when they were making opposing fronts. I'm not exactly sure. Obviously it balances out, but you know, they could have made something else, I think, right? Okay, so we've got the PE, or just trying to hold off right here. So far it's 20 minutes in the game, about 2/3 of the way through, and we have no idea who's going to win. I mean, look at this. It's right down the line. The PE have more VPs in their hands right now, but yeah, they actually have more points as well. So the PE have 375 points, and the Brits have 326. So it really is about time. I mean, it's half down the line. The Cat and Crabs just decapped this, so I suppose the P are at a slight advantage right now, but it is about half. We have no idea who's going to win, because look at this massive blob here and how powerful it's going to be. It's rushing its way on in. Hetzer's going to do a good job against all of this stuff. I mean, we've got tons of armored cars. We've got mortar half-track, which is going to do a lot of damage, and this Hetzer is going to do quite a bit. You know, I changed my opinions on the Hetzer. I originally used to say that it's not that great against infantry, but I don't know, it seems like ever since 2.602, it's absolutely superb at killing infantry. Long distance, short distance, it can annihilate 1 or 2 guys at a time. And you know what pffreestyler is doing right now? He's actually rushing right into the middle of these guys. So fair enough, you know, it's doing a lot of damage, just running over guys. Now it's out of control, just crushing all of these fences. But the Brits taking a lot of casualties, but at the same time destroying a whole bunch of the PE's force. Look at that. They are losing a mass amount of guys. We saw that lobbing effect by the PEs right over the train, even though for some reason, how did they know a half-track could have been there? No idea, but they still done it. I mean, let's think about it. If there's a train in your view sites, how do you know that there's a half-track there? Well, oddly enough, from Company of Heroes' view system, you can still see stuff over bushes. It's not really a Men of War view system, for example, where you can't see beyond things that are physically in the way. In Company of Heroes, obviously, you guys can see over everything. So they could manage to take out the mortar half-track. And so there you guys go. Massive amount of casualties. Armored car, mortar half-track, another armored car, and also that Hetzer. So my god, when you think about just how much the PE have lost and how they're going to get back in this, I really have no idea. The Brits obviously took a lot of casualties as well. They really desperately need to get these guys back up to speed, but they really need to be careful right now. Maybe if they had some sort of oh gosh, it really is a hard thing to say, because obviously the Brits don't have some sort of mobile reinforcement points. Obviously they could maybe get like a base or something like that up here, place it down in the points, and they could start you know, reinforcing from there. Maybe they could do that, but you know, it is really a tough thing to assess, because if they did lose that position, then they would lose that command truck as well, or that truck, and that would be quite a big devastating loss as well. So it really is a difficult thing. I think what the Brits are actually doing right now is actually just retreating, playing a little bit more conservatively, and going to be reinforcing from there. So there we go. We've got an armored command truck just being destroyed. You just saw that guy flying right in front of the screen. Probably should pause it if you guys can. Pause it at that second mark when the guy was just flying across the screen. And there we go. We've also got a Sherman Firefly being produced for that. So only one tank being produced from that Sherman, from that armored truck. Actually, I believe a Staghound was produced as well. So the second vehicle being produced, so that Sherman Firefly. Now, what this is going to do is actually counter these guys even further. These vehicles taking on the armored cars like nothing, taking on the Hetzers. But still, it's one Sherman Firefly. It's not going to be like God. It's not going to have God mode or anything like that. So still needs to be a little bit careful, because a Hetzer can take on a Sherman Firefly. Let alone the fact that the Firefly doesn't have a armored or a command... God, what do they call it? A command tank. There you go. A command tank. It doesn't have that. So it's not going to be shooting as fast. No idea what these armored cars are doing. They're just going at some sort of suicidal run, I suppose you could say. I'm not exactly sure what the mentality was behind that, but fair enough. Suicide armored car. Let's ram him through the side, and maybe we can penetrate his armor with our own bodies. Not exactly sure if that works in this game. Now, we've got a bunch of these guys moving up north again. Look at that. A whole bunch of them. We've also got just a whole mixture. Where is one of the Piet squads? I have no idea. We're missing a Piet squad. Maybe they fell down. Maybe they died. Maybe, right? Everything is falling back for the PE. They're trying to recuperate their guys, get them all grouped up again. Still nothing really much in terms of progressiveness. Maybe what we'd see by now is Panzer Support Command, and the PE would be working towards Panthers, for example. I mean, Panthers is always a great option to do, but then again, it doesn't look like they're doing that. Maybe they're a bit down the manpower. We see Grug has actually quite a bit of manpower right now saved up. But the PE, and there we go, does not have that much. So that is the unfortunate thing of actually going for the tank destroyer doctrine, because it's actually a very difficult thing to work with. Because look, for example, how much it adds to your cost: 600 manpower. All right, so usually when you're going for a tank destroyer doctrine, you'll have a surplus of fuel. Not in the case of PF Freestyle this time, because he's still spending a lot on his armored cars and such things like that, mortar half tracks. But he has these, hetzers, right? These hetzers are very costly, as I was saying, 600 manpower each. So you're going to be really balancing the cost of the hetzer between the cost of other things out there. So with the armored cars, the mortar half tracks, the other Panzer Grenadier squads. And so you're going to be really struggling between choosing which one you want. And you're always going to be a bit low on manpower itself. So really something difficult to work with when you're with the tank destroyer doctrine. Can be an absolutely fantastic doctrine. You get free Panzer Shreks and you get very powerful units. However, gotta work with those balances towards how much it's gonna cost you in terms of manpower, right? Right, quick drink of water again. But still, not really sure how this is gonna turn out. The P are really falling back now. The Brits have a very strong lead on them. All these guys here pretty much at full health, just trying to take on these guys. And the PGs are trying to take on them as best as possible, but still, they've got Veterancy 3 on their offensiveness. That means they're not going to be surviving any whole lot better. They're going to still be dying at the same pace as a normal PG squad. However, they're going to be shooting a whole lot faster and also with a whole bunch more penetrative accuracy, right? But obviously they need to be a bit more careful. Still alive, so it's alright. These guys are retreating. And these armored cars are moving in. But overall, I could say that the PE are going back into the fight. They're trying to recap their territory, but I mean, look at this on the tactical map, for example. The Brits have really taken their opportunity of making an encompassing effect and just capping away at everything. So the PE need to get back into the fight. Need to get these armored cars to kill these guys. Not only just kill the squad, kill the men and force them to retreat, but actually finishing off the squads entirely. That's going to be a really critical thing. So chasing them down, killing those squads entirely is going to be very important. Let's see how the Brits are doing in terms of manpower. They've still got a little bit, however, they are probably struggling a bit as well. That is one of the unfortunate things about having so much infantry, and specifically blobs, wearing down of manpower. So not only the PE are struggling in terms of their doctrinal choice of manpower, but the Brits as well. With having so much infantry, it really does cost a lot to reinforce these guys. A lot. And build more squads. Everyone knows how notoriously expensive the Brits are, and so it's a very difficult position to be in as well. So I suppose both these factions are in a difficult position because they are both trying to balance the effects of the manpower costs. And there we go, we've got buttoning coming down on one armored car being taken out, and these other ones are retreating, but that heroic charge is being so damn devastating. Oh god, look at these other ones, another buttoning effect coming down. We've got flanking, or overdrive coming down in this one armored car. It looks like he's gonna get away. Oh gosh, so damn close. I have no idea how that managed to get away. I believe maybe the Brit squad accidentally buttoned it, then misclicked elsewhere, and so the buttoning effect was cancelled. Very unfortunate thing. I notice that sometimes happens when I'm playing the Brits. For example, you button down something and you accidentally misclick somewhere else, and then boom, you've basically cancelled the buttoning effect. And so it's very frustrating because another armored car could have easily been taken out there. These guys are maybe going to go in for another round. Maybe they are. Look at this, but the armored cars doing a whole bunch of damage to these guys, damaging them very much so. Also killing quite a few of them, and look at that. This very important armored car taken out. Triple veterancy out on it. Man, oh man, oh man. Triple veterancy just gone like that for the armored car. So what they have left is just 2 single ones, actually 3. So it looks like what PF Freestyler is doing is actually mass producing these things, okay? So he's actually going to be, it looks like he's probably building another one. So he's going to have 4 in total. That's what he's going for. Now, something very important is going on down here whilst that battle is happening up north. We've actually got a PG squad go inside the trench over here, and what I actually noticed was that this replaced command headquarters. What the hell? How did that happen? That means that the headquarters was destroyed. So the headquarters was around here, and the PGs got into this trench. So obviously that must have meant that the Brits left this trench unguarded. Very unfortunate thing to do, unguarded. And the PGs took their advantage, got in there, and started destroying everything from the inside out. Look at these Panther Shreks annihilating these guys. Usually you wouldn't think that that would happen, but they're still doing it. I suppose 2 shots at a time, still a good advantage to do that. I'm not sure if these guys have veterancy. Let's actually switch on over to PF Freestyler. I don't see any veterancy on them, but it's still firing at a very, very fast rate. Can you imagine if they had triple veterancy, offensive veterancy? They'd be firing really, really fast, wouldn't they? Still, this headquarters command truck being put down here, and the PGs are firing away at it. I'm not sure if that was a good idea to put it right there. 400 manpower, like, just gonna be gone like that again. So the Brits are sort of faltering now. I don't know exactly what they're doing. They're trying to retreat, but not retreat entirely because there's armored command trucks or armored cars there. Man, it looks like the PE or PG or the Brits are taking quite a bit of casualties. We've got a stack hound going down. Also got our armored car going down. God, there's so much, so many names with the same sort of beginning words, right? Also that headquarters command truck going down as well. And geez, these Brits are having a difficult time. I think they're a bit on edge at the moment because everything is separated. This is not the comfortable zone because they were so used to having older guys blobbed up in one area, but now everything is separated. They just lost a whole bunch of stuff. They lost their casualty clearing center. They lost their command trucks, and now everything is just retreating right to the start point because all they have left is this armored command truck and also the field support truck over here. So the PE are closing in with their armored cars. Not exactly sure how the Brits are going to take this on. They can still reinforce, obviously, but they don't have anything to heal up their guys. Nothing to heal up their guys. Just a straight Brit squad up here, but oh man, no idea how the Brits are going to take this on now. They still got a few Piats, so that's going to be able to take on the armored cars, but oh god! Yeah, Panther! No! This has really sealed the deal. These guys getting housed. Now the Brits have literally nothing that they can do. And oh man, looks like Groog actually dropped from the game. He still had a field support truck, but he looks like it actually dropped from the game. Realizing, yeah, Panther, nothing we can do. We don't even have anything to button it. We have nothing. I mean, we have Piats to try and counter it, but still, 2 Piats is going to have a difficult time to take on a Yag Panther when you don't have any buttoning effects, and especially when you got all these infantry and armored cars just right there ready to kill you. Well done to the PE for winning that. Even in the end, when the Brits dropped, look at that, the PE are still suffering so much in terms of their strategic points. They just had a great window of opportunity there whilst the Brits were up north fighting, that they actually took advantage of that window opportunity to get in that trench over here and destroy everything. If that trench wasn't here, I don't believe the attack could have been as successful. They could have probably done quite a bit of damage, but probably not as successful as it was right now with that trench. So very well done to P recognizing that hole in the strategy, in the units out in the field, and taking advantage of it. So obviously, as I was saying a little bit earlier, that is one of the unfortunate things with the Brits. It's a bit hard because when you've got a blob, you basically move it in one mass. So you can only have it one place at a time. So when they're up north, that meant the PE could easily come down from the south, right? Okay, so very well done to the PE for winning that. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Now, what we're going to be doing for the 100th episode is something quite special. We're going to be doing a normal cast, but what I believe I'm also going to do is take you guys through the process of how I make a cast. So there's going to be 2 separate videos, one the actual normal one, normal video, and a separate video for actually my process of how I choose replays and how I go about doing them. Show you guys a bit of gist of my outtakes and also just how I edit stuff and get them all together. So a very big thank you to all of you for making this channel what it is so far. Very appreciative for that, and I hope I'll see you guys in the next video. So until then, guys, hope you have a very, very nice day, but until then, bye bye.